Anyways, let's do some shooting. Oh, beautiful.
Alright, am I even plugged in? I was going to say, not a complete disaster to start with, but the dog decided it wanted out just before I was meant to kind of get out there, so apologies for being a few seconds late. And I will just close this browser down so I can see what I'm doing. And that should about do everything. Something's gone wrong with Photoshop for some reason. Bear with me. I am being as professional as ever, as you can see. Good evening, Tomek. Good evening, Paul. Good evening, Aussie, or afternoon even, for Aussie over there in that US of A. I hope you are all keeping well and behaving your bloody selves as well. So yes, Tuesday again. Hi Diane, by the way. Not a lot of new stuff to report since Friday, because have I even left the house since Friday? Probably not. Not a lot, really. Anyway, not. I don't think. Apart from shopping, I haven't left the village. So yeah, it's. Must stop scratching the back of my head as well. Yeah, there's not a lot going on, so we'll probably just pretty much crack on with things. Good evening, Peter. Even afternoon, Peter. Not behaving at all, Ozzy. Fair enough. Right, have I got anything to report? No. Boring evening, boring episode tonight, I think. I'm trying to think. I've usually got something to say. Something to... No, No, did I tell you about that on Friday? Anyways, I've started doing my new website. Just in case I didn't mention it the other day. So yes, I am started a new website on the good old Squarespace. Unfortunately, without any new sponsorship or any of that bollocks that everybody does. I haven't got a big enough viewership for that. So yes, new Squarespace site coming soon. So hopefully my website will be much more reliable and probably look a little bit better and hopefully work a bit better and might actually have all the selling things all in one place instead of me sending you onto about 7 different sites to buy whatever I'm vlogging you. So yeah, so that'll become well, tomorrow it's meant to pee down, so I might get more of that done tomorrow. I just find I can't get down to working. I just can't seem to sit down and concentrate during the working day. It's like today, went shopping this morning, like the grocery shopping for the week, and then the afternoon it was 4 o'clock before I knew what was going on. So yeah, these days are just flying by, and we're into, what was it, the day the 9th of June. Another 11 days, 12 days, and it's the longest day of the year. And then the nights will be cutting in again. But it is very weird. Well, it's not very weird, but it is strange to you look out the window at 9:30 and you can still see light being cast onto the fields and the trees in front of you. It's you think, and going to bed and it's still reasonably light as well. It's strange. Well, not strange because it happens every year, funnily enough. But when you feel like it's winter for 6 months and then it feels like it's spring, summer, and then autumn for about 3 weeks, the rest of the year. It's a bit of a change. Anyways, I am rambling as per usual. So anyway, thank you all for coming along and listening to me ramble tonight. It is always good to see you, and thank you all as always for your support in coming along and watching me. Sometimes I do question why you do it, but anyways, anything else? The only other thing is this microphone here. I am on the verge. Well, once all the shops get resupplied from that of a foreign Far East other part of the world where they make such things, I'm going to get a new microphone. I've been looking, and I've been quite fancying the new Rode NT Mini, which is a wee little USB thing. I am thinking of spending some cash on that. But as per usual, like at the minute, supplies are hard to get by, and they're not coming into the country, it seems. So I am just waiting for stock to arrive into the country, and then I will buy. Hopefully upgrading my audio, because sometimes I do wonder, because this is such a horrible cheap mic, that it could be better. So we are gradually inching towards a slightly better streaming experience for you guys anyway. So yes, so hope, I mean, the fingers crossed, it might have something in by next week, so expect to see more changes, hopefully a few improvements in quality here and there dotted around, just to keep you coming back. So instead of me rambling, as I always do, we will look at doing some photographs today. If I remember how to switch screens, that'll be the one. Lightroom. Oh right, you're not meant to say that one yet. I don't just edit on a Tuesday evening in front of you, although for a while it did feel that way. I do editing in my own time as well. So I have been looking to make a couple of images because I have my newsletter to do in the next week or so, and I've barely made an image since March, so could really do knocking some new work out. So we are. Hi Aileen, by the way. Good to see you. So we are working. I went down to the beach the other night. It had been a grotty morning. Peed it down. Horrible, windy. Just very, very grim. Was it Saturday? I think it might have been Saturday. But the afternoon gradually improved, and then the evening was beautiful. Stunning day. Stunning evening. So I went to the beach because I couldn't think of anywhere else to go. Because I am very much stuck in a rut, as many of us are. So I am making more images of my usual subject of Bamburgh Castle. I went down to the beach and made a few images of that, and then I went onto the green in front of it and made images from there, and then jumped back in the car and came home. So we are looking at this kind of data. Oh, I did a self portrait of a type. That is me, if you don't believe it, or rather my shadow. I was actually testing my camera out with its wrist strap, and when I purposely dropped the camera out of it so the wrist strap would catch it, then I somehow pressed the shutter button at the same time. So that's the camera falling through the air whilst kind of looking at my shadow on the sand. So there you go. A bit of a happy accident, but that's pretty much my entire career. A happy accident, or many happy accidents, to make these images. This likeness is a lot better looking, Aussie. So what we're gonna, I'm hoping maybe knock out a couple of images in this stream. I've got some not kind of middle distance shots of the castle there, and I went a little bit further out. I've got some more distant ones. Yeah, these much more distant ones. But like I've said in previous streams, I do kind of get concerned about these very, very light images, because when we start interacting with the, you know, turning things upside down and interacting with pixels and blending, if there's lots and lots of light, then there's not a lot of data there for the layers to blend together with. So they do make the job 10 times harder. I'd be very nervous about throwing my camera around. I think I've tried it a couple of times, but I wouldn't, because it's not a, you know, it's not a ball, so I wouldn't have any confidence in catching it, and I would be far too scared because they're worth a lot of money, them camera things. So these ones, very distant ones, which I'm thinking I might do a very quick edit of something distant with these. Yes, let's do that. Let's stop talking, Andy, and let's do some action. Because I do use these Tuesday nights because I basically never say a word all week long to anybody, or not to many people anyway, and come to Tuesday night, you can't shut me up, because I have a week's worth of words to get out of my mouth. So basic. What am I gonna do? I did start developing some Lightroom presets as well. I said start developing. 2. I made 2. I'm just wondering if I can do something a little bit bonk. I don't know if I want to go bonkers with this, or maybe we do. Do we want to go bonkers? Probably. I've been inspired by Doug and Valda's presets to go a bit more bonkers. You get some weird and wonderful results, which would be lots of fun to play with. I would use their presets a lot more often if they didn't make things so grungy and so texturalized. I like flat files. Semicircular ripples in the sky. I presume you mean these lines here, Aileen? You know, so it's it's effectively the line of the like the outline of the, in this case, the castle. I presume you're meaning these lines, Aileen? Or do you mean the banding issues? Because if I go strong, well, maybe it's not. Sometimes if you go too strong, you'll get banding issues where either it's the change from one colour to another, and either your colour space can't handle it, or your camera hasn't captured that amount of the gradation between the colours. Cannot do with that because it's, you know, maybe it's only capturing 4 million out of 16 million colours. I'm not really sure. But yeah, it's one of them things that it's a problem, and it's a problem as you go deep into the processing of it as well. I did make a one the other day, and there was quite a bit of banding. If I can just, yes, Andy, those which the chat is about 30 seconds after what when I'm actually talking. So Do you mean the lines or do you mean the banding, Aileen? And then we can talk about it. Anyways, we will crack on making something here. Yeah, what was I doing? I was kind of halfway through. Diane said yes, go mad, so we will. Or do we? Do we go for something? Andy, make your mind up. Just make your mind up. Excuse me. Yes, let's go. Let's go red. Undo. Yeah, it's just banding, and it's sometimes that banding will disappear when you zoom in. Sometimes it's how your computer or your monitor in Photoshop renders it actually to your eyes, and sometimes when you zoom in, that banding will become apparent. I don't know if there are techniques to minimize it in Photoshop, but you can't really get rid of it altogether. It's one of them the vagaries of digital photography and bright scenes. It's just one of them things that you've kind of got to get used to. Just drop the highlights a bit just to knock this area back a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to increase that vibrance a little bit. As we are going bonkers, we are adding more to it. Right, dust spotting. We do have a bit. I will have to get rid of these ones at the bottom because they appeared a few months ago. I don't know where from because I barely ever change my lens anymore. So I need to get some dabbing sticks into there, get them cleaned up. He says, but probably will never get round to it for a while. Anything else? Vignetting? Well, yeah, we opened the vignetting up already. Maybe it's just because it was shot a little bit darker. We can open up, kind of fake it a little bit by just adding a bit on there. Yeah, sometimes if I've got a problem, like a real problem with banding, Aileen, I've actually added a texture to to detract from the banding as much as possible. Yeah, if you go to my website and search for the image "The Great Flood," if it's labelled, that's another vagary of my website. Is that it's a bit broken. Sometimes the labels don't come out. One called "The Great Flood." There was a lot of banding on that because I'd done so much work to it that I tried to blend that banding away and was getting nowhere. And I ended up. I think I tried to add noise, or grungy kind of ISO noise, and that didn't really work because it still had that change of colour. And then the only thing that would help it disguise it more was to add in a texture and then just kind of blend it in that way. But it's one of the problems of digital photography and certain scenes, and probably accentuated by ICM as well. It'll be more prevalent in that than traditional landscape photography. But yeah, it is a problem. So I am talking in. So I'm just gonna sync all these settings across these 5. You'll picked yet. See what we get. See, I mean, I know it's kind of half rendered here, but up here you've got some band. We will have some banding problems. You can just see the lines there. Now that it's kind of rendered together. So I did flatten out the ISO, didn't I? So we're definitely going to get some problems when we go into the next stage. Yeah. So that's fine. Yeah, that's just the computer being slow, rendering all this together. We will edit this in Photoshop, and then wait for an age. Yeah, it's a good way of doing it, Aussie, is just yeah, just make something of it. Well, here's one of them problems where something, you know, just can't cope with it, and no matter what you do, it's still apparent. Then it feels like it's ruining your image, and you get all depressed and annoyed. Then what could have been a brilliant image you disregard because you can't get rid of this one issue. So it's quite a frustrating thing. Right, let's blend these together and see what happens. Okay. Struggling. I'm struggling. I have nothing. Look at all them dust spots. I thought we'd clean them all up. Right. I'm going to use multiply to line them up a bit. If I start with a sensible one, and there we are. As usual, I don't particularly want them exactly on top of each other. Something like that. We're getting something a little bit more interesting. It's a bit random, but it's possibly a little bit more interesting. Or in other words, I see a little bit of hope for it. Quite liking them lighten, you know, the lighten blend there. These ones aren't doing much. So these lighten ones, you've got a few different layers working through the image. I can see it would be something fairly abstract, but a square of here kind of looks like mountainy, misty valley in front, that kind of thing, or because of this is all quite bluish, gives you the impression of being above clouds, that kind of thing, possibly. Just gotta make it up as usual. Right, yeah, but yeah, just I'd use something like darken or multiply, and then just line them up like that. Move tool, drag the layer around until they're roughly in line, or where you want them. There's should be the thing. Yeah, I think that definitely needs that two bottom layers there. You just kind of maneuver things around until you get something in the place that you kind of want. Gone wrong. Right, I'm going to take a capture of that view with that merged to one layer. Keystroke of Control Shift Alt and E, and then see what blending we can do with this. Just looking to again enhance the contrast a bit. See what the various things do. Various connotations of things. Ooh. Normally I would go ooh and start playing with that, but it's still quite a minimal kind of image. I suppose we could do something with that, with the thingy slider, hue and saturation slider. Shall we have a go at that? Kind of gets us away from the reds, mind. I'm not one for getting away from the reds. Right, hue and saturation. Let's have a slide about on here. See, this is where the banding comes in, along here. Hopefully YouTube is doing a good enough job to show you that. But we've got banding there, and we've got banding up here. You know, it can get quite problematic the more you do. So it is definitely something to be careful. But when you really start pushing it there, you can see how bad it could get. So it's a good idea not to go too mad. Yeah, I think if we carry on down this road, we are going to have some problems. So you can even go very, very light, and you can still see the lines in here and across here. So you are really pushing the data very, very hard. Go the other way and see what. Quite like that red there. So if I actually take that, take that out, oops, come back. Yeah, thought I might have done something nice. Come on, Photoshop, catch up. I don't want to push this any further because I don't like that banding. What I'm thinking is levels. Levels and go for white in here. Nope. Let's go for grey. See what it does this time. There we are. What have I done? Back to levels. Grey onto here. And yeah, well, just sample different areas just to see what it does. So what I'm doing here on the level, in case you don't know, if you're not following, in the levels adjustment layer, which is that dobby there, on these eyedroppers. Eyedropper, is that what the terminology is? These dropper thingies. On here you can set black point, white point, more importantly the grey point. The grey point you can just plash it, click anywhere on the image and it'll give you these kind of different things, because it tries to set whatever colour there as grey and then it will adjust the other colours to suit. So picking this brighter area there has turned our blue surround into this kind of mauvey, magenta-y, reddish kind of thing. I like a bit of red. Aye. So I can get rid of that hue and saturation layer. And then from there you can dig around with curves adjustments. All like my entire theory on these things is just mess around with curves and levels and just move sliders around until you find something you like. That's my message to the world. Just move sliders around until you're happy. Well, to me this is starting to get close to some kind of Japanesey kind of art. Them wavy paintings. Is it mirror shower or something? I don't know. I'm not cultured enough to know about these things. My Japanese culture kind of ends at professional wrestling. Bit of Tanahashi, bit of Okada. That's about as far as I get. Right, small adjustments. I'm liking this quite light. Just wonder if I add in a bit of blue. No. Go more yellow. No. Red. I should really kind of wait until I had a look into Analog Efex Pro to see what it's gonna do. Quite like that pinkish kind of tone. But let's add in that pinky kind of tone. So again, just experimenting, moving things around. Just do that until you're happy. It's always my tip. Play around until you find something you like. Right, okay. So you're going to trim these edges off. There you go. Diane is the cultured one. Yeah, but Japanese name I will butcher. Yeah. Hokusai? Is that? I don't know. I can pronounce some of the wrestling Japanese names, but that, no. Right, trim that off. That's probably pretty much everything. Analog Efex Pro just to see what it does. You never know. I'm glad. Well, we are both northern, Diane. So I probably, yeah, well, we're probably on a hiding to nothing, trying to pronounce that. And Tomek's getting clever. I'm just wondering if I should cut and paste that and stick it into Google into the Google Babble thing or whatever. Is it Babble or Google Translate? That used to be called Babble or something, didn't it? After the all right, Aileen's cultured. Hokusai. Fair enough. I would still probably make a balls of pronouncing that as well. That way, that's nice. That's a nice, very ethereal, pinkish tone, isn't it? Very cool. Like a clamshell now, isn't it? A bit shape there. Well, I think it is anyway. That's per usual, talking out my arse. This could be one of these images of infinite options. Just lots and lots of wherever you place that other layer, all manner of things will come from it. Just lots and lots of options. Much playing about to be had. Let's go back to that. Yeah, so we've got a few. I'm definitely going to take a few versions of this. I'm just going to have a look down, see if there's any other presets worth a look. Yeah. Oh, you're more cultured than a lot, though, Aileen. There's some nice tones appearing from this image. Yeah, let's just have a quick scan of some of these. Yeah, we've got a pretty much pre-built option here. Quite like the tonality of this. Slightly cooler stuff mixed in with the pinks. You know, with very little need to do anything. Back a little bit. Yeah, that's actually doing a bit. Lens vignette is kind of positioned over here. Yeah, I think I quite like it up there. Kind of balances it out nicely. Fine, that's fine. That works quite nicely. I'm going to come back into this and see if we can get another couple of differing views of it as well. Is that what it is, Dominic? Being clever. It's certain. I'm thinking something like that as well, Diane. But yeah, I think I'm going to go back to that vertical one as well. So this tonight's image is going to be an experiment. Is going to be another demonstration on how many different images you can get from one starting point. Because we are going to head straight back into here. And also remember that when we're using Analog Efex Pro, is, you know, we're putting a lot of things together in an easy package. Whereas a lot of these things, with a bit of knowledge and a bit of nous, you can kind of do it using Photoshop, but in a long-winded way and without that preview that you kind of know what you're getting. Which is why I use Analog Efex Pro, because it lets you see what you're doing or what the starting point might be. Bloody things. Right. I'm going to go to that lines one. Where would that be? It would be one of the Lindisfarne corners, maybe, isn't it? Well, this one. Newlands corner, that's the one it's called. So we just want to refine this a little bit, because we don't want to just use the preset as it is. We want to put our own little stamp on it. So in some way, in some fashion, maneuver it around until it's kind of something that you like. Yeah, from the bottom. Right, basic adjustments. If we knock back the brightness, I think we're going to need that brightness, to be honest. Increase the contrast, decrease the contrast, keep it in the middle. Detail extraction. Yeah, we need something like that. I'm just a little bit worried about that going directly through the main shape. We could get it to somewhere slightly off center. I prefer it on that side. I might have to go about there, change the balance. increase the exposure to the gain of above that 50% mark. We can have that about there. I'm just going to dial that back a little bit. These are one of the awkward ones that when you first looked at it, it looked quite good, and now that you've started working on it, it's not quite the same. But I see I have moved that across significantly. So maybe if that's across there, if I narrow and shrink this down, we can get a bit more of a shape there. Do you want that shape interacting with that there? And then do we maneuver the lens vignette into a different area? If we make that darker around it, lighter around it. Lighter is probably better. I think that will be making a reasonably nice square image. Very minimal, very painterly, very soft. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Right, we'll confirm that one. Then we'll go out and then we'll come back in. Right, hide that one and then back in Analog Efex Pro. And of course the problem with this, we'll spend about half an hour at the end saving them all. Because it'll take a bloody age. It's looking a bit grey out there. I think we're in for a day of rain tomorrow, which will not be a good thing. Right. A lot of these are a bit too multicoloured for my my tastes. A bit too bright and garish. So what's that one? Don't particularly like the colour, quite like the shape. Maybe it's not. I am enjoying the colour of this one though. So we will, by using the double exposure module, we will simply move this around until we see something more we like. Yeah. And then we start interacting, you know, making the shapes interact with themselves. And you start creating pieces like that. Something like that. I just need to balance that exposure. So, I mean, this could be an even bigger whale. Diane, look at the size of that tail there. Plunging below the ocean. Below the waves at sunset, or whatever. Actually, it could just about be like that, couldn't it? And then it's just really finely tuning your image to suit your taste. That's why I do like Analog Efex Pro, just because you can, just by manoeuvring your sliders, you can have a massive effect on your image, and just a few little movements can make all the difference. I am going to knock the saturation back a little bit. Or maybe do that elsewhere. I think it's just getting a little bit too pink in there. Right. Exposure balance just to get this kind of right. You know, strong enough so you can't, like, you as the artist can tell the story in your own head, but you still leave it down to others to interpret what is going on. So yeah, fine. Just play around with this lens vignette. Evening, Paul. Hope you're well, sir. Let's just try a few different colours here. These film effects. I overuse that warm filter. Should really get out of it. He says he's definitely going back to that one. Just going to change the strength a little bit though. Let's see what that effect that has. Like as it was is probably right. Probably the right keen area there as well. Excellent stuff. In some way I want to darken this down. We might have to do that in another program, because I don't want, you know, some of the virality of the colour might get diminished. So right, I'm gonna just back into Photoshop with this, and then we'll not sure, will we come back into that one for there or not? Look at refining this one. It's a tricky one. Right, let's have a play with some curves. I want to reduce these pinks a bit. Not that much. Small movements make a hell of a difference. Let's take some of that effect away there. That's kind of gone anyway, isn't it? My mistake. Bugger. Right, split the difference. What was it, about 17 before? So 7. Yeah, it's just knocked it back just enough to get by, I think. Right, we're nearly on to an hour. Yeah, small refinements. Right, just to keep these kind of organised within the entirety of the image, I will just group those together so that this one finished image is kind of all in one group, whereas these two versions are kind of finished as they are, really. There's not a lot more to do. I could maybe take out a little bit of greenery in that. Possibly. Do that later. Do we get another one more go with this? See what we get. We don't know. Alright, we've got 3 out of this, which I think is a result, even though there's probably maybe 2 of them I would consider publishing. online, so all three of them might go in my newsletter because I've got nothing. I've got very little to go in it this month, so that might get a result there. Just liking these soft, ethereal kind of tones and just enjoying all of that. Well, if it was a different colour scheme, then I would be kind of all over this as a stormy kind of image, but it's just a bit too colourful, isn't it? Everybody say aye. Back up there, you. Play with these sliders again. Drop the. That's nicer. That's got a bit more background hills, sunset over a bay kind of feeling. You know, can maybe work on that. So you bring those hills in a bit better, a bit more apparent. Make them taller. Because you've got this nice transition between that deep pinks and you got the yellow of the sunset, and then the high pinks in the clouds up here. Even though it wouldn't really do that, but you know, art. Yeah, we're going for. We go for darker light. I think we're going to light again. So this lens vignette, we want to probably go the other way into the positive territory, but move it into play. It's kind of lost some of that kind of nice change from yellow to pink up here. Alright. Might even look at, yeah, this area here is a bit of a problem. Yeah, leave that up there, and then the darkening effects kind of bringing in those hills in the background, if you want to call them that. Just try to keep things balanced. Make things brighter. Just maneuver this, like the opacity of this levels and curves section. Just sweeten that in until if it would hurry up and catch up, sweeten that in until it's kind of just doing it by sight. You might find that you're right one way or the other. So I think that looks not too shabby. So it might get a little bit of a colour tweak before it would go live anywhere, but we'll leave that till later on. Right, so I'm just going to save that entire image as one Photoshop file, and then what for each of the versions, well, the other 3 versions that we've ended up with, I will flatten the file so it's just the one layer, and then save each one individually as another whatchamacallit, as another Photoshop file. The calendar shop here, yes, well reminded me we're into June already and I should really be thinking about calendars again. Last year I was very proactive. I started thinking about them in about July. And then and I was way ahead of the curve last year. This year I think I'm going to be far too concerned about trying to make new work. I don't know how proactive I'm going to be with calendars this year, on how organised and how quickly I get underway with them. You like the blue? I think I'll probably save that version as well, Paul. Kinda, was it that one? That one, but it was the normal version of it, like so. So right, we've got this version. So what I will do, I will just flatten the image. There we go. That's the button. Then I will do a save as. Don't click save again because it will save over the top of your original, and you don't want to do that because you'll lose all your bloody work. So you want to do a save as, and save it as. I'll just put edit to. Well, you can't see because it's on the other screen. And I will just stick an edit number 2 on the end of that. Save it, and it should be really quick because it's only one layer. And then you do Control and Z to undo your last thing. So it undoes the flattened layer. So you make that layer visible, and then you flatten the image again. So you've just down to that, and then File, Save As, and then in number 3, save that. And then Control Z to undo the flattening again. And then you turn on the top layer. And then you go to flatten again. And then you go to save as again. And see, just checking everything. Yes, so it is save as. Yes, it is save as. Sometimes I get worried. And then undo, and undo that, and then we've got this version that Paul liked. I just noticed that there is an edge down there. We'll chop that down a bit, and then we will flatten that image, and then File, Save As. Number 5, there we go, we've got 5 versions out of this. This is my motto in life: minimal work, maximum results. What happens if I export? I have no idea, Paul. I very rarely use export. Do I use export for when I make my Patreon wallpaper? I'm not sure. It's still a modern thing, export. I'm not sure. The thing is, I want to save it, and I want to go back into my Lightroom. I want it in my Lightroom catalog without having to import something else. Also, I'm keeping them as Photoshop files, not as, so you can, like, you know, PSDs or TIFFs or whatever. I'm not exporting them as JPEGs because I want them back into here. Rating is 3, so I can know where they are. So we've got these. So this one, I'm just going to do some very simple crops to finish because we are already over time. So yeah, simple crop. I'm going for a panoramic kind of feeling with this one. A little bit of foreground leading in and all that, bobbins. Nice little thing, nice little headland across the back there. Still not really sure what this is. It's a hill or something. There you go. 2x1 crop pretty much works. This one is fairly minimal subject matter, so we could do it a few ways. Let's make a thingy. A thingy? Brain's gone to mush. Another version. Hi Jerome, good to see you. Another one that likes the blue one. You should know that I like reds. So therefore you're very rarely going to get anything else. Right, 2, 5, 3. See this one, again I'm thinking long, because that's the way I work. Yeah, there's no, I mean, there is no foreground in this one, so you can go kind of higher into the sky, do like a bit of a sky, even though there's not much going on in it, but you know. There you are. Subject matter around about there. This one I think is definitely a square. One thing I'm just gonna try whilst we're in here, to try to flatten out this green. Nope, that didn't work. More dicking around required with this one. But crop wise, I would definitely say a square crop. There you are. Slap bang in the middle. Lovely. Could maybe do with a bit of brightening now, I see, with a white background. I like a bit of orange as well, Peter. Not just red. Because that's all the difference. And this one is definitely chop a little bit off the bottom. Well, you could go a few ways here. Let's make a couple of copies. Come on. Because I think initially we could go a square crop. Something like, well, I could go either way. Something just off there. Just off centre to really annoy everybody. And then obviously you can go quite long. And again, you can have that up there. I think even you might just drop in a grad filter across the top, but darken it just a tad. And have a radial filter, kind of brightening that up, but go more yellow, or contrast rather, or narrow it, or completely redo it. Undo, select this one, I want the corner so I can turn it slightly. There you go. I just wanted a little bit more colour, kind of so it looked above it. It was above a horizon. So yeah, there you go. Oh, there was this blue one as well. This one as well, I would say, because there is the vague shape of me there in the shadow, I would say this one would have to be square. Something like that. Maybe it's even chopped in a bit. Bit mountain above the clouds. Something like that. Pretty much alien, yes I do. I mean, when I'm in Photoshop and I crop it, if I use the crop tool, it's generally because I've rearranged layers. And then you've got those edges. But Lightroom, I think I do. When I'm making my ICM images, I will I'll do all my cropping at the end, and then you've probably seen us on the Fridays if I'm doing editing other people's images that are like normal photography, I'll actually crop first. And I think that's just to try to, because I haven't taken those images because I haven't taken them myself, I'm trying to get my mindset into a composition that I would have taken. But yeah, quite often when I'm processing normal photography, like normal landscapes or whatever, I'll cropping is one of the first things I'll do. But with these, I think it's because I've learned not to restrict yourself and just work with the entire canvas first and then crop. So you know, Lightroom, because it's what I use to export into a JPEG as a full res or a TIFF, or you know, a crop for Instagram that goes into Dropbox or whatever. Generally, my cropping is all done at the same time in Lightroom. So if I do a crop for Instagram, or if I do a crop for a website or whatever, then you know, it's all in the one place. So pretty much yes. I think that's a 99% yes to cropping in Lightroom. So there you go. Hi Marco, good to see you. Thank you very much for coming along and watching. All the way from Italy. Very good of you. You've come in right at the end, so hopefully you've either been here for a good while or you're going to catch up on the start. On the catch up part of things, because we are 10 minutes over. I have been rambling today. So I would just like to say thank you very much for coming along and watching tonight on this grey and increasingly miserable Tuesday. If you're not, please do like or follow me on the following Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel if you're not already. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified when these things go live, and if I ever get around to making another normal video and not just live streams, you'll be notified of that as well. And I think that'll probably be able to do. Anything else? Patreon, as you can, oh shit, I always get these the wrong way around. Patreon there, you can join these fine people on my wall of patrons, right there over on Patreon, and yeah, join Larry, Jerry, and everybody else. All these lovely people, you can join them as well if you are so interested in such things. I think that'll do. I have a weird thing I'm going to do tomorrow. Well, it's not really weird, probably quite normal to a lot of people, but I am interviewing somebody tomorrow for a future video, so wouldn't that be exciting? So yes, we'll see how awkward an interviewer I am, and how crap I am, and how I would never get a job for the BBC on the One Show, because I'm just not sociable enough to do interviews. But that's what I'm doing tomorrow to enhance the visibility of a project. So I'm doing that over Zoom tomorrow night, and you will see that hopefully before the middle of next week, because that's when it's out. So anyways, keep an eye out on that video, and I've got two videos in the can which I've just never got around to editing yet, so they may well come out in the near future. I am not sure what I'm doing on Friday night, whether I'm doing a live stream or not. I haven't quite run out of data, but we are getting close to it, and we are getting further and further out of lockdown. And I did say I kind of thought I would only do this for lockdown, so yeah, I am rambling as per usual. All I would like to say is thank you for very much for watching, and for spending your Tuesday evening or afternoon or morning or night with me tonight. Hopefully I've entertained you and enthralled you and educated you. But until the next one, keep hard. See ya.